let's move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And can we so let's try to do this because
shout
I think
out to the NFL for scheduling that opener for them, by the way.
I mean, I've said my piece on it. I think it was classless. I really do. But I don't think they care. The NFL cares what I think, certainly, but I don't think they care at all anymore. But let's try. So we're doing about 10 minutes a team. Let's see if we can do 10 minutes on the Steelers without mentioning the fact that Aaron Rodgers still hasn't been the quarterback or hasn't come on board.
Okay.
Let's do it, assuming that he is. And let's talk about realistic, optimistic expectations without mentioning the celebrity mercurial quarterback.
So we can still reference the quarterback position, but not whether or not he's going to be there.
Yeah, and if we say the name, a buzzer goes off, and then Shelby just stops the podcast like the end of Sopranos. Yeah.
Okay, so I think they've got a sneaky, burgeoning strength that no one's talking about.
Yes. All right, let's do it.
The offensive line is going to be really good.
I agree. Yes.
The offensive line, they got Broderick Jones up and running last year.
Mm-hmm.
Troy Fautanu was considered like a middle of the fairway, like a really safe pick coming out of the University of Washington, right? He's going to be your right tackle. Zach Frazier might be the best young center in football already, coming off of his first year. You have Isaac Siamalo, who's a good pro. Mason McCormick was good as a rookie also. Like, that's got a chance to be a good group for a long time to come. And this is a team that's had offensive line issues. But I look at that as like, if that's the foundation, all right, like you're working with something now, you know? Yeah. And I really like their second round running back. Because Caleb Johnson, like those running backs that come from Iowa, I would say this about them is that when you're the running back at Iowa, you're the focal point of the offense. It's just the way that they've always been built. And so, like, this is a guy who comes into the NFL having been the bell cow, having, like, defenses geared to stop him on a week-to-week basis, you know? So I just really like the match there.
I think Siamalo, I was just looking back at some of the stuff that I've written about him. He's been like I've written like he's the most underrated player on the Steelers. I projected him as a first-time Pro Bowler when he moved over there. He is so underrated as a quality player, and I think he got overshadowed a lot by Kelsey in Philadelphia. And I still think he's still a little bit overshadowed in terms of what he brings to the offense in Pittsburgh. But Frazier, too, I mean, if you can hit on a dynamic young center, Creed Humphrey comes to mind in Kansas City.
Feels like Frazier feels like Humphrey a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it just, it makes things so much easier. I'm curious as to what. Go ahead.
I also think, like, if you look at the offense, like globally, right? Upgrade at quarterback, and I think you're upgrading your number one receiver spot by going from Pickens to Metcalf, just from a consistency standpoint.
Right.
They like Calvin Austin more than people realize.
Yeah.
They think they really do. And if Jonnu Smith's coming in there, then it gives you some flexibility with what you're doing because you've already got your like wide tight end, right? Like Freiermuth, your wide tight end. So now you get like this kind of guy, this guy who can be a move guy for you. It gives you some flexibility between 12 and 11 personnel.
Even 13, like, am I crazy in saying that Darnell Washington didn't have a bad season last year? Like, I thought, I mean, he was a third round pick in 2023. There were especially, like,
he's a monster too.
The middle back end of the season, like weeks 10 to 14, he played a ton. And so, and again, I mean, some of these guys are not guys, they're just nice to have and they're whatever. They give you a different piece. But clearly if you're looking at Jonnu Smith, who knows Art Smith really well, and I think that the two of them can create something really worthwhile.
I mean, Jonnu Smith needs to be the bottom line. Jonnu Smith needs to be in a place where they know how to use him and
they know how to use him.
Yeah, and Arthur Smith knows how to use him.
I think this team has Peyton Wilson, for example, last year came
I
in.
was gonna say, Peyton, you took the words out of my
Yeah.
That's a guy I'm like excited to see this year.
He was tremendous in covering last year. Played a ton. What was it like?
Playmaker.
More than 500 snaps out of your 4th round pick, and
no ACLs, lots of plays.
Wait, I'm missing this. He has no ACLs.
I think that was the story. Yeah, I think it's hold on.
See, Odell Beckham.
But he's playing next to Patrick Queen. Hold on. He's missing an ACL on one of his knees. Yeah.
Oh, good. Whatever.
There's actually there's an athletic headline. Steelers linebacker Peyton Wilson does have an ACL, singular. So I was sorry about that. I was wrong. He does have an ACL.
He does have one ACL. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that. I mean, Derek Harmon to me was probably one of the least surprising selections in the draft. You would have liked to have seen every year, right? We get cute and we're like, okay, maybe the Steelers are going to do this because of what they did with Kenny Pickett. I mean, he's a monster. And
he has a little medical, but I think he'll be good. The TJ Watt thing will work out. He'll be on the team. I mean, I don't think you have to worry about that. I they've even got some promising young play. I mean, you mentioned Peyton Wilson. I put Joey Porter Jr. in that category too. Beanie Bishop.
Undrafted free agent. If you can get, and again, Peyton Wilson, a 3rd round pick. Beanie Bishop, an undrafted free agent. Zach Frazier, a 2nd round pick.
We're really talking ourselves into this.
So, Albert, this is what's fun about this exercise. You talk yourself into half of these teams being the winners of the division now and half of these teams being a complete and total disaster. But let's say, because again, it's the rule here is optimistic but realistic. If we get a typical muddy, disgusting AFC North, which we might, because I have not had a sunny weekend here in 6 months in the Northeast, so maybe that's just how life is going to go from now on. Is division winner out of the realm of possibility if these guys all develop?
They were in the playoffs last year.
Right.
I mean, they, for as crappy as the season ended for them, they were in the playoffs last year. So I think they have every reason. If you're signing Aaron Rodgers, you're not doing it to.
Oh, you said it.
No, I said it now. So if you sign Aaron Rodgers, I think our 10 minutes are up. So I think I'm good to say it. If you sign Aaron Rodgers, you're not doing it to go out the way that you went out last year. You're doing it to get to another level. And that's why I think, again, they didn't swing for a single or a double. They swung for the fences here. Now, that swing for the fences might lead to a strikeout, but it is a swing for the fences, which I actually support that part of it because it's where you are with an aging Minkah Fitzpatrick, with an aging TJ Watt, with an aging Cam Hayward, with DK Metcalf on his 3rd contract. I think that's just sort of where you are.